Calling all adventurers! Are you longing for a new world to explore but don't know where to start? Perhaps you want to be the hero we all deserve, saving villagers from destruction. Or maybe you fancy being the evil that makes all NPCs quiver in fear. Provided you can make it past the character customization screen, of course. Who's ever managed to do that in less than 6 hours? From post-apocalyptic wastelands to dodging arrows to the knee, we're here to provide you with our top 8 RPGs of all time. If you agree with our picks, please give us a like, subscribe, and of course ring that bell for notifications for more PC gaming videos like this one.
Divinity Original Sin 2 kicks off our list thanks to it being a brilliant ode to classic pen and paper RPGs. The land of Rivellon is a world where every decision will leave you questioning your moral judgment, as each choice you make shapes the future for both yourself and those around you. When it comes to character customization, there are plenty of options, but if you're a tad impatient, there are 6 unique origin characters to choose from, each with their own stellar background story and special questline. We personally really feel Thane the Undead Prince, but that's just us. Want to master the game? You'll need to learn and exploit the contours of the terrain to gain that all-important advantage in combat, plus understand how the game's many magical elements play off against each other. If multiplayer is more your thing, the entire campaign is co-op, plus there's an inspired PvP arena and the Games Master mode inspired by classic tabletop games. Whatever your RPG tastes, Divinity Original Sin 2 has got you covered.
All aboard the Normandy SR2 and stand by for intergalactic takeoff. With its combination of first-in-class RPG characters and Hollywood-style third-person shooting, Mass Effect 2 is BioWare's greatest achievement in terms of world building. Or perhaps that should be galaxy building. In Mass Effect's far future, humanity has just joined the galactic community. However, the older races need to be forced to acknowledge the growing threat of the Reapers and the danger they pose to the very existence of the universe. In an attempt to keep the Citadel safe, you suit up once again as the legendary Commander Shepard, and embark on a gripping and surprisingly emotional suicide mission. How you complete such a mission though is up to you. Will you be a noble hero hunting for glory, or a cruel racist hellbent on punching every journalist in the galaxy? We'll leave that decision with you.
Bit of a masochist? Don't worry, your secret's safe with us. But boy do we have the game for you. Dark Souls is a cruel, relentless battle through a bleak and rotting land where the "you died" scream will become your new best friend. With death only ever a misreading of an opponent away, it's a painful game, but one that is infinitely rewarding once you master it. Venture out into the world of Lordran and discover a plethora of trinkets and magical items, rewarding those brave enough to explore those long-forgotten tombs and subterranean cities. But are the enemies scary, I hear you ask? Well, with their grotesque appearance and tricky mechanics, this is not one for the faint of heart. And that's before we even take a look at the legendary bosses. Colossal creatures that will challenge even the most hardened RPG veteran. But for all the talk of difficulty, it's important to state that Dark Souls is always fair. Every failure is a step in an educational journey that teaches both mechanics and lore, and you'll come out the other side both stronger and wiser. Ultimately, it's the sense of accomplishment that makes Dark Souls worth hammering away at. It's much more than diving face first into constant failure.
Torment Tides of Numenera is a fascinating, almost Shakespearean RPG. As its name suggests, it acts as a spiritual successor and pays homage to Planescape Torment, a game which even 18 years later is still one of the greatest RPGs of all time. But its modern successor should not be passed over. For those of you who enjoy a spot of literary goodness with your role-playing, Torment Tides of Numenera will have you reveling in its excellent writing, whilst encouraging you to use the game's most powerful weapons, words. Torment embraces the weirdly wonderful Numenera setting, one where you can aid a robot give birth and then destroy it with its own explosive offspring. This, partnered with its nuanced narrative, elevates it to the lofty heights of being one of the best RPGs on PC. Oh, and did we mention there are entire cities crafted from sentient meat? Nope, well now you know.
Let's get a little nuclear, shall we? Now I know what you're thinking, we're going to say Fallout 4 thanks to its improved shooting, crafting, settlement construction, blah 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 blah. But you'd be wrong. Nope, the best Fallout is Obsidian's New Vegas, and here's why. Freedom. After the game's brief introduction, it's up to you to venture off and do as you please. Many of your choices relate to who you'll aid in the Mojave Wasteland. The ranger-like New Californian Republic, the slave-loving Legion, or the enigmatic Mr. House. Or you could just be a self-serving arsehole. We kinda like that last one. With an overarching narrative that never nags you, you truly have the choice to be good, evil, or any shade of grey in between. Joining that liberating sense of morality is killer writing from the best scribes in gaming, tremendous world building, and pitch black comedy, all gathered in a neat post-apocalyptic package.
We love a good immersive sim at PCGamesN, and Deus Ex is the gold standard. Plus, it's heavy on the stats and abilities, meaning it can sit proudly in the RPG crowd too. With a mix of dialogue challenges, hacking tricks, and firefights, there is a playstyle for everyone, even die-hard shooting fans. Couple those mechanical triumphs with elements of conspiracy, terrorism, and transhumanism, Deus Ex presents a dystopian future that, despite its age, feels relevant today. As for the character who must navigate the game's many dramatic stories, you'll be taking on the role of trenchcoat-wearing JC Denton, transforming him into a cybernetically enhanced soldier, expert hacker, or a ghost who lurks in the shadows. Whatever path JC takes, it's entirely up to you. With every combat encounter offering a breadth of different outcomes, and every map brimming with secret paths and hidden caches, your experience of Deus Ex is guaranteed to be wholly different from that of anyone else.
Look, you already knew this one would be on the list, but we can hardly miss it out, right? The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt is a dark fantasy open world adventure, riddled with tough moral challenges, steamy encounters, and monster hunting. It's also popularly considered the best RPG of all time, so if you've yet to play it, we suggest you head to your preferred games retailer right now. Well, perhaps not right now, there are still other RPGs to discover in this video. The Witcher 3's quests are perfect delivery systems for both exciting combat encounters and the lore of the war-ravaged lands of the Northern Kingdoms. Just keep in mind that every decision you make can have huge repercussions. One minute you're slaughtering a monster you found, and the next thing you know it's 7 hours later and you're at the end of a consequence-led story that you never saw coming, sobbing into your keyboard after one poor choice saw the entire thing end in disaster. Despite all this, it's incredibly rewarding. There are no mundane missions either, with even the smallest side quests offering fascinating stories. Every interaction will keep you hooked and refuse to let you go until you've experienced everything this game has to offer.
There is one last game that has earned its place on this list 10 times over, with its iconic soundtrack alone. Think dragons, spellbinding landscapes, majestic cities, and not-so-gentle giants. Yep, it can only be The Elder Scrolls V Skyrim. Arguably one of the largest, richest, and most immersive worlds ever created, Skyrim will welcome and entice you until you've unraveled every thrilling narrative this land has to offer. Worried you might miss something? Don't worry, developer Bethesda has your back, with points of interest popping up all over Skyrim's map as you explore the countless cities, towns, and tombs. Even when you think you've seen it all, you definitely haven't. And when you've run out of things to see in the core game, it's time to turn to the real reason why Skyrim is such an RPG treasure, the PC mod scene. The Steam Workshop and Skyrim Nexus contain an endless collection of changes and additions, from simple UI updates to whole new questlines and schools of magic. With mods, you can truly tailor Skyrim to your exact tastes. So equip that Daedric armor, mount your horse, and go forth into a world that is no short of incredible. Just don't ride that horse up a mountain, there are just some sounds you can't unhear.
So there we have it, the top 8 RPGs of all time according to us insightful folk over at PCGamesN. Of course, it wouldn't be fair to say that these are the only RPGs that you should play. Honourable mentions go out to Baldur's Gate for providing the gold standard foundations upon which so many modern RPGs are based upon. Pillars of Eternity 2 for proving that you can make fantasy role-playing even better if you just add pirates. And Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic 2 for offering perhaps the most compelling reasons ever to explore the dark side of the Force. Let us know if you've embarked on any fantastic adventures that we have not covered in this list. Alternatively, if you want to help boost our egos on our selection, please leave a like and why not subscribe for more videos like this one.